Arnav, Bob just spoke about the whole concept of engagement. Now, my question to you really, which it kind of hit me while I was, do you think the increased use of technology, and you, of course, mentioned technology, Bob's equally mentioned technology, and both of you, having known you for as many years, I know you're very strong proponents of the use and leveraging technology to drive forward-looking organizations and enterprises, really. But do you think the increased use of technology, the right tools, do you think the concepts of productivity are going to change, number one? And number two, do you think, therefore, technology will enable us to measure productivity in differential manners?
So Arjun, I think we can't really defy the idea that that you can't run your business without technology, right? I mean, you have to certainly have technology as a key fabric of your, I would say, organization or let's say business, right? Obviously, technology has become the fulcrum of everything that we do, practically, right? So from the two aspects to it, right? One is obviously productivity of the employee, and second is the customer experience, right? So from a productivity point of view, if you let's say collaboration tools, or if you look at investment into some of the emerging technologies like robotic process automation, or let's say AI based platforms. I think if you do not have any of those technologies in place, I think you are really running. I would say slow. I mean, I wouldn't even say running, but I think you're really moving slow. Um, and and I and I think that shit obviously is going to be some small organization which is really embracing technology and moving faster in that direction. So I mean, it's the older concept used to be the big fish eats the small. It's not anymore, right? It's the fast fish is the which eats the small, slow fish. So I think it's going to be, if you're a slow fish not at embracing technology, obviously you're going to be having a challenge. From a productivity point of view, as I said, you need to have right collaboration tools. Make sure that you have right technology so that your employees are productive. Uh, Certainly, from a customer point of view, if you look at if you're not really leveraging the data, if you're really not deploying the data and analytics to make sure that you are able to map the customer journey, come out with the insights, give the customers, let's say, an omni-channel experience, and
Absolutely.
understand the customer better and give them a personalized experience. I don't think it's possible manually. Right? I think you need to have technology. And as we move forward, I think with the current situation, I think it has taught us a lot. And certainly, there's been a joke around saying that what has really created the transformation, right? It's COVID-19. It's an old joke, but certainly it's worth saying it because it has
Eh,
really accelerated the way people are leveraging technology, and
indeed.
I've been able to plan for the quick turnaround. I mean, if you're still thinking that the old ways are going to be working and not invest in technology, I don't think it's going to
It's going to work at all.
work at all.
Very, very interesting. Bob, now to take what Harnath said as feedback, uh, you were at the center of technology at Dell. What kind of innovation are you bringing along that helps accelerate the embracing of technology by enterprises and organizations? And how are you fashioning technology for it to truly blend in with organizational objectives? I mean, if we could have uh, uh, a few of your thoughts and experiences, and what exactly is happening at the Dell Innovation Stable?
Well, I think it's no surprise that most of our time now is spent on AI, and AI for lots of different reasons. And I'll talk about AI for good, particularly when it comes to end user experience. Being able to see how people work, see what applications they're using AI to really optimize applications for when they log in, what times they log in, how they use their devices. So there's those sort of things. But the big one has been AI for education and training. Um, Obviously, with a lot of schools now going online, there is a big uptick in development skills for training. So from that perspective, it's uh, AI has been really important for us to be able to provide um, enough skills to be able to come up with new ways of making learning and training effective. And there's a couple of examples. Like they've been training now with the South African army. They're training the recruits with AI in and augmented reality. And what they found is they were doing this because they couldn't actually go out and do this, but they're doing it virtually. And then the first time they go out and do a live shoot, they had a 20% increase in accuracy and performance. And so they showed them that it was much, although the investment to do this AI was initial outlay, actually the improvement was quite significant. And there's other areas, particularly in healthcare, where we're not able to have people come to the hospital to go through the process and understand, being able to give and deliver that to them in their home environment, so they know what to expect when they get to hospital, particularly young children going to MRI. If they're using the MRI, they go in there and they get scared because it's the first time they've seen it. They don't know what to expect, and it's costly and in time and money. Whereas they can actually go through that environment now in the comfort of their home, so they know what to expect. So my answer there is really that AI is probably our focal point. Where is it being used, particularly in places where you had to go for things like medical and any kind of education training. But this has also given rise to the new capability of things I mentioned earlier about upskilling, and diversifying your skills. And there's a new concept, this hub-spoke community that's coming out, whereby lots of people were in areas that they could not use their skills because they lived too far from a facility. And now this whole connected workforce, Arjun gives us the capability to access those skills and those talents from anywhere, and to be involved in big corporations, even though they live 5 or 6 hours away from the.
I completely couldn't agree more, because which is what I'm going to take to Harnath. Harnath, we do have about 5 minutes on the clock, so gives me the time to ask you something very, very important. Now, given the experience of the last 6 odd months, given the displacement that we all experienced in terms of enterprises, industry as a whole, do you think it's going to give rise to a new set of skills? Do you think the new ways of working, really, the fact that we are working through technology today, is going to give rise to new skills, thereby enhancing productivities within the workforce in itself? Do you think it's going to be able to do that?
So Arjun, you're right. I think this has, as I said, this has really taught us, or this particular incident has taught us a lot in the last few months. I think the first I would say is adaptability. I think if you've not been able to adopt new ways of working or new shifts that are happening in the way businesses are working, I don't think anybody can survive. The second is resiliency, right? I think you have to learn to be resilient in whichever situation you are put in, right? Third thing that is going to be coming to my mind is creativity. If you're not creative, you can't survive, because as we are moving forward, as we try to rebound from the current situation, I think creativity is going to be one of the key, I would say, skill set. Fourth one that comes to my mind is innovation, because the businesses are going to change. The businesses are going to relook at the way they've been functioning. And innovation and agility are the key, I would say, skill sets that anybody and everybody who's in the business today, at whichever level they are, right? I think they have to start either developing that or at least start working on it, right? One thing which is very important, and the current pandemic has taught us, is to have a very frugal mindset, right? I mean, you have money, you spend, it's fine. But at the end of the day, we also need to know how to survive, right? So I think the frugal mindset is something which obviously it has taught us, the current situation has taught us. As we move forward, we'll continue to innovate more with less. I think that's going to be the key mantra, right? The biggest for everybody and anybody is being conversant with technology. I mean, if you're not conversant with technology, I think you can't really operate, right? Be as an individual, as an enterprise, right? And last but not the least, which I think is the ability to learn and relearn. It's not that you learn something and then you are done with it. No, you have to continue to unlearn and relearn. I think that's going to be another key skill set that I think I would say you'll have to develop.